What if the way you've been telling your life story reveals the secret to what is holding you back? Stories play an integral part in how we see not only ourselves, but the whole world. Stories are more than just an important part of communication. They also reveal hidden aspects of our inner talk, which can either support us or end up holding us back from the very things we want most in life, without us even realizing it. Join author, mindset coach, and award-winning singer-songwriter Carrie Rowan on her show, Look for the Good, every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. when she shares nuggets of wisdom from her internationally best-selling book, Tell a New Story, 5 Simple Steps to Release Your Negative Stories and Bring Joy to Your Life. Carrie's powerful stories and compelling guests will empower you to change how you look at your own life while giving you some powerful tools and tips you can use every day to help you feel better and move yourself closer to the life you've been longing to live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Look for the Good. I'm your host, Carrie Rowan, mindset strategist and coach, and I love sharing stories about the wisdom and, I'm going to start again. You know why? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Look for the Good. I'm your host, Carrie Rowan, mindset strategist and coach, and I love sharing nuggets of wisdom about the stories that we tell each other, but more importantly, those stories that we tell ourselves. And you can join me and my special guest as we share our personal stories of strength and triumph every week here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. You can listen online in your mobile device or in your car and ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 Radio. Tune in every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. to get real stories and tips on how to turn your story and your life around. And evolve with us as we unite humankind with universal love. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Look for the Good. I'm so excited to be here. We have Penny Fitzgerald, our special guest, waiting in the wings. Hello, Penny.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so good here on this Friday. And I can't wait to dive in. Everybody knows I love talking about stories, right? And it's always those stories that we tell. Sometimes it's a good story. Sometimes it's not so good of a story, right? But it's in those stories when we can dive into our personal stories that we can really find the things that tend to be holding us back, right? Sometimes we don't even realize that we really cling tightly to this story that was handed to us when we were not even 7 years old, right? And so it's those stories that run in the backdrop, right? A lot of people say 95% of our thinking and our stories and our operating is just on like autopilot. We don't ever stop and question, what are those stories? Why am I still telling that story? And does that story serve me? Because a lot of stories you'll find, that's an okay story. I guess I got it from wherever, but it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve my life. And a lot of times we don't even realize that the stories we're hanging on to are the very thing that hold us back in life. Right. And that's Penny's like, yeah. And
So true.
And that's why I love talking about this topic. I love talking about stories. And Penny, you have some amazing stories. And before we dive into that, we're going to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly stories, right? And we're going to talk about how we turn those stories around and how sometimes that we don't even realize in the midst of our what we think is our worst story is actually our biggest turnaround. So I love talking about that. So Penny, do you mind if I share a little bit about your bio? It's so cool.
Oh, not at all.
So after leading a team of 650 wine guides for nearly 18 years, we have to hear all about that job, Penny. Penny Fitzgerald now supports and inspires female entrepreneurs to dream bigger, remember what brings them joy, and provide the resources and encouragement to develop their creativity and dreams. I love that, Penny. I just love what you do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a super fun job.
Was it? Oh, tell us about that job. I want that job.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was fantastic. So it was a direct selling company and we sold wine. It was basically educating people about wine and, helping them have a good time with wine, which is okay. How hard can that be? Not very.
Right?
So, yeah, just pairing foods with wine, why you sniff and swirl, what characteristics a wine might have, and kind of picking those out and teaching people how to do that for themselves to determine what they love about it, and then helping them select what wines they'd like to purchase from the company. So it was a very, very fun job. I had a very large team. almost 650 people at our peak. And yeah, just lifting those, mostly women, a few guys, but wine guides. Yeah.
Wine
Guys.
guys.
Yeah. But yeah, we just had a blast doing it.
Mhm.
I'm sure you can imagine how fun it was.
I can imagine how fun it was. And I love the educational piece because I feel like, in this day and age, I think people are drinking more wine. Um, but like the story behind the wine, right? Like, oh, where did
Uh-huh.
this come from? What country? And,
Right.
like I love drinking things that are from France and Italy
Mm.
because they treat their grapes nicer. Um, and they're better for us, right? So, yeah, I love that it was a teaching capacity. And talk to us a little bit about, because we're going to get into your podcast too. I love that. How did you stop that and decide, hey, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for something different. I've kind of done this enough. Like, what was the precursor for you?
Oh gosh. Well, I started the podcast in August of 23 as a way to kind of reach more people and to educate more people about
Hmm.
wine and to kind of introduce what I do and what the company was all about and that sort of thing. So luckily, that was really good timing, because in December of that year, our company changed its business model and shut us down. So
No.
yeah, it went to an affiliate marketing program. The business plan was completely changed around. So my team was gone. There was no more ability to work with a team or to build a team or get that career income that I'd been building for years. So I had to pivot. And it turns out I should have done it before.
Isn't
I
that
should have
funny?
taken, I know. Looking back, the things that I loved about the job, well, of course it's wine. So of course it's super fun.
Super
But
fun.
yeah, the thing, the actual tasks though, it was bigger than that. It was bigger than wine. So it was lifting women. It was giving them the opportunity to see more in themselves than they could at the moment, to kind of build that out or bring that out of them, and to give them tools that they needed to be able to reach a higher perspective, a higher goal for themselves. So helping my team members, my leaders, those that wanted to do more, to reach those goals and to be more to have a greater vision for themselves, because they were capable of so much more and they didn't, many of them didn't even realize it.
And you saw their potential. You saw the potential
Yeah.
in them. And you knew bigger picture that you were offering them more of
Yeah.
a vision for their life, something
Yeah.
more to be hopeful about, right? To like get out of their mundane, and
Yep.
I love that. You were inspiring women, and
Mm.
wine was just the vehicle, really.
Yeah. What a great vehicle.
What a fun vehicle, right? Wait, let's not drink the
Yeah.
wine in the vehicle, but no.
No, 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 no. Yeah.
But it was really just an impetus to really I love that. You were empowering women through this job opportunity.
Yeah.
But I love that you said pivot, right? Because pivot is what we have to
Hmm.
do. We all had to learn to pivot too, I think, during COVID. I know
All
with
right.
everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
So we've all had to learn how to, and I feel like that's the secret to business, though, is being good at knowing when and how to pivot, right?
Mm. Yeah. And sometimes we don't. I didn't. I had to. So,
Yeah,
it
right.
that's, I think, the thing that we get stuck, not stuck, but we allow the routine and the what we love to do, we keep doing, and we keep putting one foot in front of the other, and we don't think bigger than than this box that we've put ourselves in.
Mm,
And then
yeah.
something happens, and if you're a go-getter and you have a bigger dream, and it and you pursue it, good for you. But a lot of us have to have something shake us to wake us up,
Yeah.
to realize that, oh my gosh, I need to do something different. I need to change something here. And that was really a blessing in disguise. And it always is. I mean, stuff like that always, in the moment, it's awful and it's very hurtful. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
But
Yeah.
yeah, if you can get beyond that and look at, okay, what opportunity does this open up for me?
Mm.
And now where can I take this, and just be open to the possibilities, new things will come up.
I love that. And it just makes me keep, as you're talking, I keep thinking about this Tony Robbins quote, that life is always happening for us, not to us. But at that moment,
Yeah.
it feels like it's happening to us. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa, how could they do that? Like everything I've worked for 18 years is now just gone. Like,
Oh,
you
I
get
was mad,
right. You're
girl.
mad. Of course. I bet you were mad. Like, what?
Beyond. Yeah.
Right? I
Ah,
love it. I love that. All the feels, right? You're feeling
all of it.
angry, you're
Mm-hmm.
resentful, and then you start to feel all those other things like, oh my God, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Right? Then that
Right.
imposter thing starts coming in.
Oh,
Oh, what am I going to, oh, I'm too fill in the blank, right?
who am I to think this? Who am I to think that I could do that? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh, I don't have enough time, money, whatever it is. We start thinking
Mm-hmm.
those resources. I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too
Mm-hmm.
whatever. We start thinking, our mind starts telling us you can't do that. You can't, it's too late to step out and do something new.
Right.
So you sometimes you just have to tell those voices to just be quiet.
Yeah.
The brain's just doing its job to keep us in
Yeah.
that comfort zone, and we have
Just
to
keep us
bust out of it.
safe.
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, keeping us safe. And I talk a lot about that. How do you overcome our own biology? Because we're all wired like that. We all
Yeah.
feel those feelings. And I think sometimes we're in the midst of that story, like you couldn't see the ending just yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that could have been your worst story. You're in the middle of sometimes we're in the middle. We can't quite see the ending
Oh,
until, right?
exactly. We're in the forest.
Yes, we're in the forest and we can't quite see that this is actually our break free moment, right? This is going to
Yeah.
launch us into something else because that's exactly where life wants us to go, to something bigger and better.
Yeah, exactly. Our future selves are coming back to bring us with to that better future. So we don't have to be, we don't have to stay stuck. We don't have to
Yeah.
feel less than.
Yeah, I love that. And I love what you said too, is like having that mindset, like, wow, I wonder, okay, what else is possible here? Like I have some
Mm-hmm.
questions my go-to questions. That's one of
Mm.
them. What else is possible here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because when we ask the brain a question, it has to give us an answer. So
That's right.
right? So it's like, oh, well, what if this was my huge pivot and something great could come out of this,
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
you said possibility. What other possibilities can I be open to? I have to
Yeah.
just be open.
Exactly. Yeah. Be open and think like, what do I love? What do I love to do? Who do I love to serve? What do they need? What is
Yeah.
their burning desire? Or what do they enjoy? When I go do those wine tastings, what do people love? What lights them up? And then with my team, what did they get the most out of working with me? And then what did I love to do with it? So lifting women up and supporting them and bringing a lot of fun to it. Combining all those things together just naturally melded into the podcast and the courses that I teach. And then it's a lot of things that like you teach, Carrie. It's a lot of mindset and a lot of feeling safe and getting out of the comfort zone and realizing that, okay, I didn't die. I just did something I've never done before. And oh, look at me, I'm still breathing.
I love that. I stepped on a stage and I didn't collapse.
Yeah, I didn't trip. Oh, thank God. Yeah.
That's the biggest fear. I got
Yeah,
behind a
exactly.
microphone and I didn't like, suffocate in sweat. Like I was okay.
Oh gosh, yeah. I probably sweat a little bit, but a lot.
So I love that, but like it's all the things. It's so common, but we don't want to talk about it, right? Those are the stories that we don't want to talk about.
Mm,
The ones that where we felt hurt, we felt angry, we felt all those things, but what am I going to do with it now? I love that you've
hmm.
put all those skills together. Um, so I love do you have like a little personal mantra that you like to use when times get tough, or a little something that you always say to yourself? Um, Maybe something your grandma or somebody planted in your head that
Mm.
was one of those good stories.
Gosh, that's a great question. I meditate.
Oh,
Um,
let's talk about that.
I love that. Yeah, and it's like mantra. You've got this goes through my head a lot. You're almost there. You're so close.
I love that one.
Hearing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
my mom used to say, well, strangers are just friends we haven't met yet.
Oh my gosh, I had
So that,
another client come on and say that recently.
oh my gosh,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, so that's great. My dad was super friendly as well. So I have a lot of heritage there of loving people, I guess. And
Yeah.
and it's hard sometimes, you go through phases, I think, in your life where you're hurt or people have hurt you, but you've put yourself in the position and you don't realize it. Because like for me, I was young and immature and not realizing that I was trusting people too much, maybe, or trusting the wrong, I don't know. I don't know what
I
I'm
know
trying
what
to
you're
say.
saying. I get
Yeah,
it.
it's, you get hurt and then I decided that I didn't like people for a while.
And that can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really, I love animals. So I just had decided that, okay, maybe I could be okay being the crazy cat lady someday.
I love that. There's nothing wrong. My daughter says she's going to be that. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, but then
No.
again, that's how we learn, right? Like
Yes.
we learn because we're all just a reflection of each other in the relationships that we're in, right? So we're always learning, we're always
And we
exploring
always,
that,
yeah,
right?
evolving and changing and if you
Yeah.
allow yourself to go through those things and then not be stuck, not be, nope, that's the way I am. Well,
Yes.
that's your
Yes.
choice then.
It is a choice. And I feel like not everybody thinks it's a choice, right? Like it's all a
Mm-hmm.
choice. It's always a choice. We have the choice to react the way we react. We can't choose what happens, right? I talk a lot
Right.
about that. Like I can't change what happened in the past that I wish didn't happen in my life because I have a lot of those stories too. I even wrote a whole book about it. But I realized over time that the only thing I could change
Uh-huh.
was my mind. I could only
Right.
change the way I thought about those things that happen and
Mm-hmm.
how I could reframe that and turn it into something positive by, like
Mm-hmm.
you said, serving other people. And I think having that mindset of how can I serve others really removes us from our own problems, right? Because when we can think about how to help somebody else, right? It's that old
Yes.
quote about if you want to feel better, go help somebody else.
Yes. Exactly.
I'm not saying it nearly as eloquent as the quote is, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that because it's that mindset, right, that can really lift us out of whatever quagmire we think we're in at the time
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
and shifting that. So, talk a little bit about the podcast. I love it. I love everything
Thank
about it. I love the
you.
title of it. I love everything. Penny for your
Oh,
shots. I love that.
yes. Penny
Play
for
on
your
words.
shots. Conversations and cocktails with brilliant women.
Who doesn't want to listen to that?
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's super fun. I've gotten so much joy from it and learned so much from these brilliant women. I mean, just having a conversation with any woman, listening to their story, like how did you find your job? How did you get into your career? Or did it find you? Rather than you finding it? And like, what lights you up about it? What do you love to do? Would you do anything differently? Like, what would you tell your younger self if you were able to go back and give yourself advice? What would you say to that young woman as she was starting her career? And gosh, what, those kinds of things. It's just really, I think we lift each other up when we tell those stories, and we get inspired by hearing these things. And then I always, at the end of every podcast episode, bring it back around to what's your favorite cocktail or your favorite glass of wine? And then what's a memory shared with girlfriends over that cocktail? Like what do you remember about, the stories that you ladies, you would tell with your girlfriends, and where were you? What did it feel like? How much fun was it? So yeah, it
Mm.
always ends on a really fun note.
That's such a fun format. I absolutely love that format. I think that a lot of people can really relate. And bringing it back full circle to the fun moment, to what originated your whole career, right? You go right back to
Yeah,
your roots. I love that. And talking
exactly.
about that. Um, but I feel like, again, it's the same thing you're talking about stories, right? We have a very similar theme about
Mhm.
what we do, I feel like, with our
Yeah.
those stories, because there's so much wisdom in there. And I always find that behind all those strong women is another strong woman that it inspired them. Do you find that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I just got goosebumps you saying that. That's absolutely accurate. Yeah. And thank God for those strong women who have paved the way for us.
Amen.
Just I look at the women in my life. My mom was a lot older than the traditional mom, like growing up. She was 42 when she had me in the 60s. So,
Wow.
so
Unheard
yeah,
of back then,
it
right?
was unheard of. I was asked a lot, "Oh, are you out with your grandma and grandpa today?" I'm like, "No."
Really?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
a lot as
Wow.
a little kid, yeah.
Hmm.
But so, she was older, her friends were older, so I grew up with that. And seeing these older, wiser women, it was great.
That's awesome. That's a great opportunity to learn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And now, I feel very comfortable, gosh, around anyone, but I belong to a networking group called Sassy Sisters.
Oh my
And
God, I love that.
yeah, it's fun, so fun. And most of us are in our 50s or 60s. There are a few 70s and there are a couple of 80-year-olds. And oh my gosh, they are just so full of life and spark and wisdom. And just hanging around them, you just feel good, to get that energy, that exchange of energy with each other and lift each other up. So, yeah, it's wonderful.
I love that. I love that. That's a really great group, and the name Sassy Sisters.
Yeah.
It's important to be around that. I belong to a networking group, and in the local chamber has a business female forward BFF group that I really
Oh,
love.
cute.
Isn't that neat? And so
Yeah.
they do a luncheon every month. And there's something special about sharing those stories with other women in business. It brings the relaxation level, to a really
Yes.
zen place. And I don't know, we're just sharing stories, and they always have incredible guest speakers. And I got
Mhm.
to be one time, and it's a beautiful place to share and hear everybody's stories. There's so
Yeah.
many stories, no matter what age somebody is in that group. And we've got all ages too. And they always have some incredible gem of a story in there.
Mhm.
And I love digging in and finding those stories, which is what you do on your podcast as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful. Just inspiring and just so much wisdom in there.
So much wisdom.
Yeah.
Was there something that your mom said to you that sticks in your head? Some little quip or little something that she used to say?
Mm.
I love what your dad said about strangers.
Oh no, that was mom. That
Oh,
was
that
mom.
was mom. That
Yeah.
was mom. Okay.
Yeah. But dad was funny too. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank with, a specific thing. She was just always very helpful to people. I remember one time I was probably 7 or 8, little, and we were shopping in the neighboring town, and a lady fell on the sidewalk, and mom went right to everybody else was like walking by her, and mom went over to her and picked her up and like made sure she was okay. And I mean, that was the kind of people that my mom and dad were. They were just very helpful to others and very mindful of being kind,
I
so
love
that was such a great example.
I love that. That is an awesome story. And we're going to break real quick for a word from our sponsor. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Penny. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Look for the Good. I'm here with Penny Fitzgerald. What a gem of wisdom you are just sharing throughout this podcast episode. And I love what we're talking about, strong women. And one of the things you said to me was how you had to pivot your business multiple times, right? You've had to shift it.
Mhm.
And I totally understand that. If you look at my career from when I was at my younger self,
Mhm.
it zigs and it zags and it's never a straight line. Let's talk about that, because one of the things you said that I absolutely loved is how you went into your podcast and your latest iteration of coaching and supporting women at 59, because it is never too late. I
That's
want to break
right.
I want to break into a song right there.
Oh,
A friend of mine wrote a song called "It's Never Too Late." It's never too late for love. Um, so let's talk about that, because it just reminds me too of Louise Hay. Are you familiar with Hay House and all that
yes.
whole?
Uh-huh.
She didn't start that until her 60s and
Oh,
built,
that's great.
right? She built that massive empire in her 60s. So whoever's listening out there, all you beautiful women, it is never too late to really follow that dream. So let's talk about, because I feel like that's what happens is in business. You're constantly
Mhm.
pivoting as an entrepreneur. You're constantly changing and tweaking.
Mhm.
How was that in your business career? What kind of trajectory did that
Oh yeah.
take?
Well, I was in corporate for many, many years, like in a corporate sales support and then into sales for a company that we did fulfillment. So it was pick, pack, and ship and order processing and customer service after the sale and that whole thing. So it was fun. It was rewarding. I loved solving problems for clients, but it was corporate.
Say
So it
no
was
more.
yeah, exactly. Very stressful, especially in the sales position. And the reason I pivoted from that, it really was, I remember sitting in a sales meeting with our team, and our manager, our supervisor at the time was giving us the quotas for the next year. We were going over the numbers and making sure, to grow for the next year. And they were astronomical numbers compared to what people had done in the current year. So it was very unrealistic, the numbers, but they had to be there for the whole corporate spiel. It was just a fluff number, and it just was this pressure. And I remember sitting in the meeting. It was a long time ago. It was days before you had like Fitbits and that sort of thing.
I get
So,
it.
but I could feel my heart rate racing. So I just kind of, put my hand up to my neck and started, counting. And my heart rate was 130 beats a minute sitting in a chair in a meeting.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I knew I had to make a change. I had to do something that was not this stressful. I mean, just for the long term of it. So I started looking at, what do I like to do? Well, I like to have a good time. I love wine. I love bringing fun to people. So that's kind of how I pivoted into the wine world. But from
that.
there, the company that it's the same company I was with for the whole time, but they went through a bankruptcy and a reorganization about 5 years in to that. So I had to start over. We were off for like 7 or 8 months, and we had the choice, do you want to come back? And it was hard. A lot of people did not come back. I was one of their, mid-level leaders at that point. And I loved it. I loved the concept. I loved, doing what I was doing, learning about wine and teaching other people about wine. But I didn't know if I could trust this. It was the same group of people. So I didn't know if I could trust them again. It felt very much like a bad breakup, when you've been told, oh, baby, you'll be good. Yeah.
Everything's different now.
Yeah, exactly. So, because it was such a great opportunity, such a great job itself, working with the women, working with wine, that whole thing was so good. I jumped in again and started to really build. And that's when I really became one of the top leaders, was able to do that. But yeah, so eventually it did close again. So,
right.
But I learned so much through the process, all of the tools that you gain, the skills that you gain, the relationships, the strength and fortitude, the mindset that you gain, it was tough at times, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
I love that. What do you think, if you were to give somebody advice that's going through something like that? Like, what do you think is the biggest thing that you learned that you could offer to somebody to get through something like that? Because when you're in the middle of it, it feels like bad, like someone's pulling a rug out from underneath you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think the first thing to do is breathe, have a glass of wine, call a girlfriend and vent for a little bit, have a pity party of one,
Absolutely.
for just a short period of time. Allow yourself to grieve. Yeah. But then realize that you are not starting over. You never start over completely. You have all these skills that you're bringing with you that can never be taken away. You have those relationships. You have that stuff within you that is just who you are. You have your energy. Use it wisely.
Yeah, that grit that you take with you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Journal about what you love. What do you love to do? What lights you up? What do you want to do in a year from now or 5 years from now? What do you see? Where do you see yourself? If you could just dream and not have any limitations, and don't think about what's going on in your life right in this moment, but where do you want to be, or where do you see yourself if there were no limitations? that's your future wiser self pulling you towards her. So it's there. If you can dream that, if you can see that, you can get there. That's that question that you ask yourself where the answer is in there. You just have to get to it.
I love it. And a lot of times in that moment, we go outside of ourselves, right? We're such an externally facing world that we live
Yeah.
in. We're pulled outside ourselves. We got our phones,
Mm-hmm.
we got our this. We're just pulled to think that the answer is outside of us.
Mm.
And I love what you just said, because truly that answer, only we can answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with women, you'll probably agree, we forget what we love. When you ask somebody, what is it that you love?
Mm.
We
Yeah.
forget what we love. We know what
Yeah.
everybody else around us loves,
Yeah.
but
We're so busy putting one foot in front of the other and doing for everybody else. Like, just getting it done.
I agree wholeheartedly. So it's a great exercise to make somebody just sit down and say, "Hey, what do you love?
Yeah.
What did you used to do naturally as a child that just
Yes.
came so naturally to you? What
Yeah.
was that thing?" Because it's usually something creativity based, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so,
All the world is a toy when we're kids.
right? Spoken from the director of Fun, I think all the world is still a toy to you.
That's right.
I love
All the
that.
world's a corkscrew.
Right? And it's like, how do you get back to that? How do you figure that out? So
Yeah.
I love what you're saying, to really sit down, feel the feelings, allow yourself to grieve over it, and
Mm-hmm.
then brush yourself off and say, hey,
Yeah.
wait a second. Maybe this is my time to shine.
Yeah. Yeah. And grief's not linear either, right? You don't just grieve and then you're over it. You're going to go through those cycles sometimes, but allow that,
Yeah.
honor that.
Yeah. I feel grief is like a wave,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It comes and you think you're feeling better, and then it crashes you, and then you get back
Yeah.
up, and then I'm okay, I'm okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so like a wave, but it's okay. It's the process.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the fact that we can talk about it like we know it is because everybody's been through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And we lived to see another day.
we did. We
It's not,
lived.
it's uncomfortable, but again, we're okay.
It's doable. You're going to be okay, right? You're almost
Mm-hmm.
there. I love that.
Almost there.
Let's talk a little bit about meditation, because I feel
Mm.
like that is the secret ingredient for everything, because that is where we can find that answer, right?
Oh, yes. Well, I just said this on my podcast this week that you rarely find the answer when you're rushing through life. You're going, going, going. You're doing all the things. You've got a million things on your plate, and then another list of a million things you want to do.
So
So you
true.
have all these goals and things that you want to see happen, and things that you need to do day by day. But if you've got to slow down to speed up. You have to sit in silence to be able to allow that answer to come. So it's a practice. It's hard some days, because some days you feel like there's 1,000 things on my list. So how can I stop for 10 minutes to listen,
So true.
to meditate? But yeah, it's just so important to keep that practice up, because if you get out of practice, it's harder to move through the day. And I feel like more things pile on
Mm.
when you don't just take a second, breathe. Okay. Nope, this is not that important. I can set this aside for now. This is not aligned in this moment with moving forward. So let's just take a breath, and what's most important in this moment?
I love
What
that question.
what do I need? Yeah. What do my people need?
Yeah, I love that. And it's just like a level set. Like you said, it's like, I always think of it as like creating space, because I'm a big meditator as well. There's 5 meditations that I created in my book to go with the 5 steps.
Yeah, nice. Uh-huh.
And so I feel like it's creating this space. It creates this space so that,
Absolutely.
right? And you get to take that space with you. It's like, as we say with yoga, like you're taking the practice off the mat. You get to take that. And as you mentioned, the negative stuff accumulating, it accumulates so you just feel like bursting. Well, the
Yes.
good stuff accumulates too. So as you
Mm.
meditate every day, you're accumulating the good stuff so that you have that resource to pull on when you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've
That's
got
very
that,
good.
right? You've got that
Hmm.
space to decide, how do I want to respond? Do I want my knee jerk reaction, or do I want to make a choice
Exactly.
in response?
Exactly. It's just kind of a reset and a calming, that you don't have to react. You can be proactive and like you have the choice.
I love that. It always comes down to choice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I love that. And sometimes we don't feel like we have the choice, but
Exactly.
if you do these things, you will feel so much more in control of what you can control, which is
Right.
the only thing you could ever control, which is yourself, right?
Right. It takes practice. It really does. It's an exercise.
It
Um,
is.
yeah, yeah, it really helps so many things.
Yeah, I love that, Penny. That's really awesome. So is there a favorite type of meditation that you do, or do you just go for a quick, hey, let me sit down and feel what I'm feeling? Like, what's your
Uh-huh.
favorite kind?
Well, I use the Calm app. So I use a guided meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, 10 to 12 minutes a day. And it's just a great reset, a great way to start the day. Really. I love to start my day like that and then go for a walk and reflect and listen to podcasts.
I always listen to podcasts when I'm walking. I wish
Me
you lived
too.
closer to me. We could totally hang out. I love listening to podcasts when I'm walking. Um, it's just a great time to do it, right? And it allows you to multitask, which is the beauty of listening to books and
Yeah.
podcasts and all that. But I love that too. What you said is so important, like setting up a routine.
Yes. Yeah. It used to be in the morning, I'd go to the gym back in younger days, before work. Because if you don't, it doesn't happen because
So
so
true.
many other things come up that you have to take care of. So it's just, if you wait till the end of the day, it's harder for me anyway. You find your routine, if it's at the end of the day for you, that's great. But for me, starting the day that way was a wonderful way to wake up.
That's an awesome idea. And then you get tired at the end of the day, like, ah, too tired. I'll go tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah.
So many reasons why not to do it at the end of the day. I love that.
Yeah.
I really teach my clients to have a really a solid morning routine because that's really
Mm.
setting the tone for the rest of the day.
The intention.
Yeah, intention.
Mm-hmm.
One of my 5 steps. I
Ah,
love intention. What does intention mean to you?
it's not being proactive. So, or not being reactive, rather, it's being present. It is taking choices,
Mm,
making your own choices, being able to, determine and discern, is this thing that is in front of me, is this thing that I think I have to do? Do I really have to do it right now? Do I have to do it at all? Is it something I can delegate? Is it something that really isn't that important?
yeah.
What are the most important things? The intention to move towards my future, older, wiser self
Mm,
is, it drives a lot of those decisions on, like, is this the thing that I need to do right now? Probably not.
I love that. Having that intention that it's moving you towards your higher, wiser self.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, would she do that? Not really
Exactly.
sure. Right? That's great.
Yep.
It gives you like a measuring stick. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
it
where you're
does.
like, oh, what's my higher self? No, my higher self wants me to stay right here and
Yeah.
spend another 15 minutes knocking out whatever it is, writing or doing some creative thing or right. Like,
Right.
it's like, I love that.
Yeah, and it's not like, I feel like a mother or a teacher or someone that is not, it's easy to move into judgment, right? Or to feel like, nope, 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 nope. Like your finger wag going, no, you shouldn't be doing that. It's not like that at all. It's more, I feel more like my older, wiser self is bringing me with her. She's
Mm,
giving, it's not really even tough love. It's like a really inspirational, very supportive, okay, you've got this. Let's
yeah.
go. You've got this. I
Guiding.
believe in you. Kind of, that kind of
Yeah.
mind frame.
Like sort of taking you by the hand. I when you
Yes.
say that, I picture this beautiful being with a long gown on, and she's just sort of taking me by the hand, like, no, let's step away from the desk and go sit at your piano over here. Why don't you go play
Ah,
some music for an hour?
yeah. Oh, you gave me goosebumps again.
It's that kind of
Exactly.
it made me want to create a meditation around that. It's that kind of thing. Like,
That
hey,
energy.
right, let's take you back to who you truly are.
Yeah.
Let's get outside in nature and go for a walk. Because I often get those whispers throughout the day, right? To get away
Mm,
from my desk
yes.
and screens, you know, go do something else. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're going to break real quick. We'll be right back with Penny Fitzgerald.
Thanks for tuning in to Look for the Good with your host, Carrie Rowan, best-selling author and mindset coach. Join us every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. right here at Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. If you weren't able to catch an episode, no worries. Just visit our website to find all the archived episodes of Look for the Good on demand, so you don't miss a thing. And remember, it's never too late to live your best story. For additional resources or to find out about how you can work with Carrie directly, visit carrierowan.com for more details.